listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. Hey there, welcome back. So there's an old phrase that says, everyone lies, cheats, and steals. It's to what degree that makes the difference. So can I pull up a chair and flip it around and sit backwards on it and get real with y'all? Oh, perfect. If I say, dear listener, you're a liar, a cheater, and a thief, you may be offended, and I would be too. But let's go shopping, shall we? Let's go shopping and buy a bunch of things, $100 worth of groceries, and some gum. And then let's notice that in the parking lot, they didn't charge me for the gum. Do we go back inside or not? You don't, do you, you thief? Oh, you would go in. You would go back in, stand in line, wait for your groceries to expire because it's 80 degrees outside so that you don't cheat them out of $2. That's really nice of you. Okay. Same scenario. Now you made it home. Now what do? Next time you go to the grocery store, oh yeah, and you'll remember to have that receipt, won't you? I don't suppose anyone's ever been pulled over for speeding. And they gave 100% accurate information as to A, what the actual speedometer was reading, and B, their awareness of said speedometer. Ever played a card game or a board game with your friends in which you really needed the game to end soon? You did the noble thing and played for 2 more hours of Monopoly? No, you didn't. Okay, those are minor, humorous examples of lying and cheating and stealing. And in essence, each one of those is sort of a version of the other. I mean, the lying is also the cheating is also the stealing is lying and cheating. I mean, if you look at it, there's a lot of ways to look at that, right? For me, it all boils down to, well, dishonesty. No judging, okay? I got my chair. I'll move my chair. Okay. We're 2 minutes in. Where am I going with this? I'm going to focus on information. Okay. More often than not, I've made the joke that all this technology would work if humans weren't involved. And sometimes it's true. If you are making laws, you find out very quickly how the laws work, who tries to go around the law, and so forth. I, in my many years, have made many laws. And no, I'm not a legislator. I am someone who's done a tremendous amount of coding. I have created things from the ground up. I built a dating site from scratch. So I had to make a lot of laws so that people couldn't abuse the system. I tried to make it fair and so forth. I tried to make it non-gender specific so that one gender wasn't being hit with a whole bunch of rules that the other gender wasn't, which is the way all other dating sites work, by the way. So when you're making laws or coding or whatever it is, you tend to have the best intentions in mind. You try to think of the scenario of, well, look, all we're trying to do is do this, right? We don't want people to walk out with groceries, so you have to buy it, right? We don't want people to do this, so we do it this way. Da-da-da-da-da. You've heard many times, we just want to keep honest people honest, and so on and so forth. When it comes to certain other kinds of coding and things, it's far beyond that. It's mathematics and it's loops and it's things like that say, if this happens, do this, if this happens, do that, but if this happens, don't do that. There's lots of if-thens and elses and whys and for-wheres and what for yous and all sorts of other things. And with the best of intentions, sometimes you create a program or a loop that gets broken. But you quickly fix it. You fix it, you work with people and you fix it and so forth. But the problem arises when something comes up and you try to fix it and you can't find the problem. Aha. Now we're getting to the goodies. If you give a set of rules or instructions or laws to a human being, and the human being does something, may not even break the law, or go around a rule or something. They just do a thing, but they tell you they didn't. It's not very easy to find the problem, is it? Imagine buying a product on Amazon and you return it simply because you didn't like it, or you got in a fight with your spouse and you can't afford it, you find. But But you lie about it and you say, oh, yeah, it doesn't work. It chafes, or it doesn't fit in the widget hole or whatever. So you get your $300 back or whatever it is. And a bunch of people do that. And now the people are scratching their heads. Someone may even lose their job in quality control. What the hell is going on with our three-handled family Gradunza? You know, what is going on with this? They're supposed to be great, and the thingy doesn't twist right. Everyone's saying the thingy doesn't twist, or there's other problems, and they're returning it. And we want to be a good company, so we want to try to fix that. Kind of a bad thing, right? This whole lying thing might not be great for everyone. Okay, I felt the eye roll. I felt the, Mark, I don't need you to tell me that lying is bad. I know lying is bad. All the bad people lie. I don't lie. I'm a good person. Yeah, but do you remember the first 2 minutes where we talked about the fact that everybody lies? You're supposed to kind of think about that. And I know that you know right from wrong, good from bad, da-da-da-da-da-da. But it's not it's not that easy, because we have our own set of instructions. We have our own set of priorities. We have our own set of values. And sometimes an overarching value makes you do a thing that you normally wouldn't do, and so on and so forth, right? An old example is that you're on the top of one building. It's like a 100-story building, and on the top of another building very close to it, connected by a wire that you have to walk across, is something. And they say, there's $100 there. No. $200. No. $1,000. No. $10,000. $50,000. $100,000. $1 million. Most people are just like, no. Yeah, no, I'm just not risking my life. Oh, your child is there and someone's going to do terrible things to them. Okay, I walk across. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of a barely letting the person finish when they say things like that. I mean, we have guiding principles, right? So I know we have guiding principles, and I know that we're good people. So let's get that out of the way. So when I talk about lying and information that's not accurate, I use the example of what I mentioned in the beginning, which is, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do that. Which is that if you've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, no offense to, I think it was Stanley Kubrick, but oh my God, that was boring. But the point of what happened in that movie was that the robot, the sentient robot thingy, went nuts and killed people. It went nuts because they forced it to lie. And it didn't understand lying, and it got confused, and bad stuff happened. Perfect example of lying to a computer or a thing or a set of rules or instructions and so forth. Bad stuff happens. And it's one thing to have a program or a site or a something that you use in a different way and lie about it, or you lie about the way you use it, or you whatever, right? You're putting garbage in and you're getting garbage out, and you're going, hey, why am I getting garbage out? This thing is broken. That's one thing. But imagine that this inert program that we can just stop using because it annoys us, because it's doing exactly what we ask it to do. That's one thing. But imagine that you apply that same thing to your relationship, or your customers, or your boss, or your employees. Or did I mention your relationship? I think I might have. Your kids, your parents, the person you're madly in love with. Imagine that you're doing that, because relationships have a set of rules. And as I've said in the status game, with gauges and status and the way that everything works and the intertwinement of these principles and the extra dimensional math of love. If you want to read about that, go pick up the status game too. It's I highly recommend it. It's all detailed in there. In a relationship, if you work within the parameters of the program of the relationship and you lie, and lying through omission is still lying, right? Denial is still lying. If you're doing that sort of thing, and the program that represents your relationship is giving you results you're not thrilled with, unfortunately, if your first choice was to lie to avoid conflict or to lie to make things to get your way, you'll probably lie again, and you'll lie again, and you'll lie again, and you'll lie again, and you'll lie again. And now you're kind of getting what you want out of the relationship, but you're not who you used to be, right? I'm sorry. That's sad. That's a bad thing, clearly. I mean, all you have to do is unwind one lie and see where it came from and why you said it or why you did it and go from there. And you can see that you probably have a whole bunch of supporting lies. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. We know that, right? Oh, you didn't know that? Isn't that cool? What a beautiful phrase that is. So as usual, I'm not up on a soapbox telling you how to live your life. Even though I'm always telling you how to live your life. But no, I'm not really telling you how to live your life. I'm telling you the parameters of reality. Ooh, that's a good phrase too. I'm just telling you, as I say it in the status game, I say that life is a game. I'm just showing you the board. So imagine you're playing a game like Monopoly or something else, and you can't see the board. It's invisible. In fact, the rule book is written in like, it's a bullet list of 3 things. And you're like, well, this game isn't fun, but you have to play it. You have to play it to the end. That's kind of how life is sometimes. And in the status game too, I just talk about how relationships and everything work. I'm just saying that's what I'm talking about here, is that's how things work. If you're not going to remember anything from this podcast, and you'll remember everything because it was spoken to you with delightful, dulcet tones of an angel. Thank you. Just remember that, garbage in and garbage out. And if you give disinformation to the program, whether it's on the web, whether it is your diet, whether it is your spouse, whether it's your job or your clients, you're going to get garbage out. And then you're going to have to manage that. So from a laziness standpoint, just give proper information. I didn't even mention the lying to yourself. I mean, that's the whole denial thing, right? But imagine that. Like, look in the mirror and go, yeah, I really don't like tomatoes. Or I really did this. Or I really do that. Or I really am avoiding X, Y, or Z. It's just less work. So I encourage you strongly to be lazy and just be honest in the program of life. And with that, I will say good day. Have a great day. Hey there, thanks for listening. I always appreciate your feedback. I really, really do. Wanted to let you know that the Sword and the Sunflower audiobook won as Best New Author for 2020. My podcast is available wherever you consume podcasts, and my books are available on Amazon. Take care.